The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
And I have to tell you that when I sat down to prepare something tonight, I had an inner struggle. You see, somebody came over to me last night after Ma'ariv and he told me something, and I was so nisragesh that I said I have to share this for the drasha this coming Shabbos morning. I need to share it for the shul. But I was so nisragesh that I got impatient, and I said, there is no way I can hold out until Shabbos after such a statement that this individual shared with me last night. Shortly after Ma'ariv, this person wanted to speak to me. He walked me to my office. He's moving out of town, Baruch Hashem. And he told me, Rabbi Feiner, I have to share with you the following. He said, I'm moving out of town, I'm taking a certain job. I didn't have any money. And I needed to come up with $100,000. And I had no clue how I was going to come up with that money. He says, you got to hear the story how the money came together. In a short period of time, the $100,000 that he needed, he got it in a very short span. But he said, that's not the story. He says, you see, I knew that if I would daven, I was going to get that $100,000. And why is that? Because last year, Rosh Hashanah, and tears started to well up in his eyes. He says, last Rosh Hashanah, I gave it my all. I davened harder with more kavanah, more intensity than in my entire life. I never davened the Rosh Hashanah like I davened the last year. And as he started to cry a little bit, he says, Rabbi, you have to understand. I felt last year I had mamish nothing. I was depressed. I had mamish nothing that I wanted, and I cried my heart out on Rosh Hashanah. And I davened for a number of things that I felt were essential in my life. And I'm here to tell you, just under a year later, that Hashem answered every single one of my tefillahs. Every single thing that I davened for last Rosh Hashanah, Hashem Yisbarach, the ultimate Meitiv, answered every single one of my tefillahs that I davened with all of my heart and soul last year Rosh Hashanah. He says, maybe, Rabbi, it was only 99.99%. I've never heard anything like that in my life. Every single thing he davened for, as he started to cry, Hashem answered every single one of those tefillahs. So I said, Tzanu, tell me the secret. So we both agreed on what the secret was. Yes, the secret, ba'ofen klali, in a general sense, is the koach of tefillah. The koach of tefillah, that is Rav Nosson Meir Vachvogel, writes in his Leket Rishimas on tefillah, David HaMelech was a huge Talmid Chacham. Chazal tell us, halacha kamosa b'chol makom. Acha Shalti, we say it twice daily in the David Hashem Kapitel Chav Zayin. Acha Shalti Meis Hashem Osavaki Shivta Meis Hashem Koi Mechayai. His love of Torah, his insatiable appetite, Osavakesh. As Moshe Shmuel Shapiro writes in Zol Mishma, I can't live without it. And my life is Torah, and yet he never says, Avani Torah, I'm a walking Torah. The quintessential Evan Hashem, who was described as David Avdi, or Avdi David, described the label, that choice appellation of an Evan Hashem, more than anybody else scattered throughout all of Tanakh. How does he define himself in Kapitel Kuftes and Pasuk Dalet Vani Tefillah? I'm a walking, breathing, sleeping Tefillah. I'm Tefillah through and through. Nam Zemiras Yisrael. That's what David is. He's Melech Yisrael. But what does he call himself? How does he define his Etzem Mahus? I am a tefillah through and through. I'm a walking, living, breathing Avani tefillah. That explains the Friedrich Aleku and Mashkiach. It's the essence of David. Ago, Shimshon Pinkus had a Talmud who didn't have children for many years. He took him out once in Motzei Shabbos and said, Yaakov, we're going out for a drive. And he took him out a few hours out of Ofakim. He took him to a forest in Eretz Yisrael. He didn't tell the Talmud where he was. He dropped him off at the forest late on a Motzei Shabbos. There are no lights on the side of the road. He said, Yaakov, get out of the car, go into the forest, and scream out to God. Tell him what you want. He drops him off and he drives away. He comes back a half hour later. He says, Yaakov, you could come out now. He came out. And he didn't look like a changed person. He didn't look like he cried enough. He says, Yaakov, you didn't cry enough. You didn't scream out enough to God. You didn't want it badly enough. Go back into the forest. Okay, Rabbi, when are you going to pick me up? I am not telling you. But Rabbi, it's already past 12 o'clock at night. It's a forest in Israel. The wolves, the bears, who know the foxes, Yaakov, get back into the forest. Again, this isn't for everybody. Don't you dare do this to your own children. Get back into the forest. Rabbi, when are you going to pick me up? Whenever. He came back 2 hours later. He said, Yaakov, you could come out now. And he saw the tears on his face and he says, Yaakov, it's going to be a good year. And he had a child later that year. Tzedakah. Chevra tzedakah is gewaldik. And we'll speak about that Shabbos Shuva Met Hashem. Tshuva, that's Elul, that's Aser Semei Tshuva. What's the Ikra Avodas Hayom of a Rosh Hashanah? The Ikra Avodas Hayom is standing in tefillah together with the shofar and doing what type of a tefillah? A tza'aka mikol halev. Embody and emulate what the shofar blast is all about. No words are necessary. See, you don't understand every word in the mouth, so you got to say it. You got to speak it out. Just like Vidu, you have to express it and articulate it. But when all is said and done, what type of tefillah? Close your eyes, let the tears roll, and let your heart be poured out and just let go. A tza'aka, it doesn't have to be a verbal loud scream. It doesn't have to be vocal. It can be a silent inner scream. It says, Hashem, this is what I need in life. And writes Rabbi Yitzchak, it'll be mekareya, it'll rip up, tear up instantly any gzardin against you. And adds the Rambam, it's midarkei hatshuva. And adds the same Rabbi Yitzchak in the Zohar, you have a haftacha built in, me'olam, the hajarei kana will never come back unanswered. This Yid said to me, Rabbi Feiner, last year Rosh Hashanah, I cried like I never cried before. I screamed like I never screamed before. And every single thing I davened for, Hashem answered.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org